1. Clash over humanitarian city, Israel's controversial camp for Palestinians. 2. Israel's controversial Gaza plan, concentration camps, war crimes and humanitarian crisis. 3. Is Israel's humanitarian city a concentration camp? Olmert's controversial statement. 1. Clash over humanitarian city, Israel's controversial camp for Palestinians. **** A tense standoff, Israeli government and military disagree on Palestinian camp proposal. ****. A significant conflict has erupted between the Israeli government and its military regarding the financial implications and consequences of a proposed camp for Palestinians in southern Gaza. This disagreement intensified after former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert cautioned that if the project proceeds, it could lead to the establishment of a concentration camp. This alarming statement has drawn sharp criticism from various political figures. The initiative, referred to as the Humanitarian City Project, has emerged as a critical issue in ongoing ceasefire negotiations with Hamas. The Israeli government is keen on maintaining a military presence in key areas of Gaza, particularly in the devastated city of Rafah, where Defense Minister Israel Katz has indicated the camp would be constructed. On the other hand, Hamas is advocating for a more extensive withdrawal of Israeli forces. Senior Hamas official Husam Badran described the camp proposal as a deliberately obstructive demand that would hinder the peace talks, as reported by the New York Times. He expressed his concerns by stating, "This would be an isolated city that resembles a ghetto. This is utterly unacceptable and no Palestinian would agree to this." Last week, Katz disclosed that he had instructed the military to develop plans for the camp, which is envisioned to confine Palestinians to a designated area between the Egyptian border and the Israeli military's Morag corridor that traverses the Gaza Strip. Initially, it is projected that around 600,000 individuals would be relocated there, with plans to eventually accommodate the entire population of Gaza. Those who are moved to the camp would only be permitted to leave for another country, as Katz informed Israeli journalists during a briefing. This controversial plan was announced while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was visiting Washington, D.C., and it is believed to have his support. The proposal has raised immediate concerns among Israel's allies, including the United Kingdom, as well as within the country itself. Olmert, who served as Israel's leader from 2006 to 2009, has emerged as the most prominent domestic critic of this initiative. He warned that forcing Palestinians into the camp would amount to ethnic cleansing. His remarks, which drew parallels to the atrocities of Nazi Germany, faced fierce backlash within Israel. Heritage Minister Amichai Eliyahu suggested that Olmert should be imprisoned for his comments, alluding to Olmert's previous incarceration for corruption after his tenure. Olmert already knows prison very well, Eliyahu stated. There is no other way to shut him down from the hatred and antisemitism he spreads around the world. Interestingly, the military has also expressed opposition to the camp project, despite following orders to draft plans for its implementation. Tensions became evident during a security cabinet meeting when IDF Chief of Staff Eyal Zami reportedly clashed with Netanyahu. Zami argued that the project would divert essential funds and resources from the military, weakening its operational capabilities and jeopardizing efforts to rescue hostages. His office had previously contended that relocating and concentrating civilians was not a legitimate objective of the ongoing conflict, in response to a legal petition from reservists worried about being ordered to commit war crimes. Netanyahu reportedly reacted strongly to Zami's concerns, criticizing the proposed plans as too expensive and too slow, according to Israel's Channel 12. He demanded a more realistic plan that would be cheaper and faster, with a deadline set for Tuesday. Finance ministry officials have raised additional practical concerns regarding the Humanitarian City initiative. According to the Yedioth Aharonoth newspaper, the estimated annual cost of 15 billion shekels, approximately £3.3 billion, would place a significant burden on the state budget. This financial strain would likely fall on Israeli taxpayers, diverting funds from essential services such as education, healthcare, and social welfare. ****, quick guide ****. If you have insights or information related to this story, we encourage you to reach out confidentially through various methods, including secure messaging via the Guardian app, SecureDrop, or traditional communication channels. ****, a costly endeavor ****. Senior Israeli officials estimate that the construction of the proposed humanitarian city in the Rafah region could cost between $2.7 billion and $4 billion. They noted that if the plan moves forward, Israel would initially bear nearly the entire financial burden. This dispute arises amid ongoing Israeli airstrikes across Gaza, which have reportedly resulted in the deaths of at least 31 individuals, according to local hospitals. Strikes in southern Gaza claimed the lives of 12 people, including 3 who were waiting at an aid distribution point. In Gaza City, Shifa Hospital reported receiving 12 bodies, including 3 children and 2 women, following a series of strikes in the northern region. Al-Orda Hospital also reported 7 fatalities and 11 injuries from strikes in central Gaza. UN agencies, including those providing food and healthcare, have reiterated warnings that without sufficient fuel, they may be forced to cease operations entirely. In a joint statement, they indicated that hospitals are already experiencing power outages and ambulances are unable to operate. Essential services such as transportation, water production, sanitation, and telecommunications are at risk of shutting down, and bakeries and community kitchens cannot function without fuel. 2. Israel's controversial Gaza plan, concentration camps, war crimes, and humanitarian crisis. The situation in Israel has taken a dark turn, with alarming plans emerging that could lead to the forced relocation of 600,000 Palestinians into a designated area near Gaza's southern border with Egypt. This controversial initiative, referred to by the Netanyahu administration as a humanitarian city, raises significant ethical and humanitarian concerns. But here's where it gets controversial: the term humanitarian is being used to describe what many critics are calling a concentration camp. The implications of such a move are profound, as it not only affects the lives of those directly involved but also has far-reaching consequences for regional stability and international relations. The proposed camp is intended to consolidate the Palestinian population, ostensibly for their safety and well-being. However, the reality of such a plan is fraught with complexities. Critics argue that this approach is a violation of human rights and could be classified as a war crime under international law. The ethical ramifications of forcibly relocating a large population cannot be overstated, and it raises questions about the legality of the orders being issued by the Israeli government. As we delve deeper into this issue, it is essential to consider the broader context. The ongoing conflict has led to a humanitarian crisis, with many Palestinians facing dire living conditions. The idea of a humanitarian city may sound benevolent on the surface, but it is crucial to examine the underlying motives and potential consequences. What do you think about this plan? Is it a necessary step for peace, or does it represent a troubling escalation in the conflict? Join the conversation and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your perspective is valuable, and this is a topic that deserves open discussion. 3. Is Israel's humanitarian city a concentration camp? Olmert's controversial statement. A former Israeli leader has made a striking assertion regarding the proposed establishment of a humanitarian city in Gaza, claiming it would effectively function as a concentration camp for the Palestinian population. This alarming statement comes from Ehud Olmert, who previously held the position of Prime Minister in Israel. Recently, Israel's Defense Minister, Israel Katz, announced that he had instructed the military to expedite the development of this zone, which is intended to accommodate hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. The site is planned to be constructed on the remnants of Rafah, a city in southern Gaza. Once Palestinians are relocated to this area, they would be prohibited from leaving, raising serious concerns about their freedom and rights. Katz has also expressed intentions to facilitate the emigration of Palestinians from Gaza to other nations. Olmert did not hold back in his criticism, stating, "It is a concentration camp." "I am sorry," during an interview with The Guardian. He further elaborated that if Palestinians are forcibly moved into this so-called humanitarian city, it could be interpreted as an act of ethnic cleansing. In response to Olmert's remarks, the Prime Minister's office dismissed him as a convicted felon disgracing Israel on CNN, emphasizing that their actions are aimed at evacuating civilians, while accusing Hamas of obstructing these efforts. Olmert, who was released from prison in 2017 after serving time for corruption, has been vocal about his disapproval of the Israeli military's actions in Gaza and the current political leadership. He has previously stated that he can no longer defend Israel against allegations of war crimes, questioning, what is it if not a war crime? The ongoing conflict has resulted in over 58,000 fatalities in Gaza, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health. Olmert's recent comments, which draw a stark comparison to Nazi concentration camps, are particularly provocative, as such comparisons are typically considered taboo in Israel. He argues that the plans for the humanitarian city are not about saving Palestinians but rather about their deportation and displacement. Discussions regarding Katz's plans for the humanitarian city took place during a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu. However, reports indicate that Netanyahu is seeking to expedite the establishment of this zone and reduce its costs, following concerns raised by Israeli media about the time and financial resources required for its construction. Yair Lapid, the leader of the opposition in Israel, criticized the plans, suggesting they allow Netanyahu's far-right coalition partners to pursue extreme ideas. He called for an end to the war and the return of hostages. Human rights lawyer Michael Sfard has condemned Katz's proposal, labeling it as a forcible transfer of a population, which constitutes a war crime. He warned that if such actions are carried out on a large scale, they could amount to crimes against humanity, arguing that any notion of voluntary departure from Gaza is misleading. The international community has also reacted, with officials from the United Arab Emirates and Qatar firmly opposing any forced displacement of Palestinians. They emphasize the need for a solution that respects the rights and dignity of the Palestinian people. As the situation continues to evolve, the implications of these plans raise critical questions about human rights, international law, and the future of the Palestinian people. What are your thoughts on this controversial issue? Do you believe that the proposed humanitarian city could lead to further humanitarian crises? Share your opinions in the comments below.